This is Federal Network. Here are the news for today.
Citizen rule. People making a better tomorrow. They're doing their part. Are you? Join the mobile infantry and save the world. Service guarantees citizenship.
The United States has seized a large sanctioned oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. According to US, the tanker was targeted for violating a sanction of Venezuelan oil shipments. Intelligence indicated that the vessel had been quietly transporting crude oil in defiance of long-standing American restrictions. The operation went successfully, and with great finesse, the Power of Freedom was propelled forward with helicopters and citizens. President Donald Trump confirmed the seizure.
Probably know we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening.
So, other things are happening. Enticing. US sanctions on its oil industry have left Venezuela locked out of global oil markets, selling most of its output at a steep discount to refineries in China. This could also mean that the tanker could be a part of a broader effort by Venezuela to bypass these restrictions through shadow fleet operations. It is not yet clear which country's flag the vessel was flying. According to shipping data, the tanker, known as the Skipper, departed Venezuela's main oil port of Jose between December 4th and 5th, carrying 1.8 million barrels of very heavy crude oil. This seizure also reflects the growing economic pressure on Venezuela. Because of international sanctions, the country has been forced to sell its crude at steep discounts to China, facing increasing competition from other sanctions producers such as Russia and Iran. The seized supertanker is probably part of a so-called shadow fleet used to transport sanctioned oil to main markets. These vessels often switch off tracking signals or conceal their locations. According to vessel monitoring data, these ships mainly carry sanctioned oil from Russia, Iran and Venezuela to destinations across Asia. In Venezuela ports operated by the PDVSA, they could load up under fake names. Maersk Tankers CEO Christian M. Ingerslev said sanctions have led to parallel shipping markets, with some vessels operating covertly for sanctioned states. Quote, separate fleets and separate markets run in parallel. End of quote. London-based shipbroker Braemar plc estimated that more than 200 tankers are servicing Iran and Venezuela despite US sanctions, including about 82 supertankers, like the Yongjong, each capable of carrying up to 2 million barrels of oil. A shadow fleet seems to exist. PDVSA records from May 2021 show Yanshu Maritime Limited chartered the Comuna, the alias used by the Yongjong, to load Venezuelan oil. We have found no website or address for this company. Yanshu Maritime was also the charterer of a supertanker that loaded Venezuelan oil in May 2021 using the name Joy. PDVSA loading schedules show the shipments, and tankertrackers.com used the satellite imagery and photographs to identify the vessel as the Panamanian flag tanker Adisa, which also was blacklisted back in late 2022 by the US Treasury. According to the US Treasury, this vessel is controlled by a company owned by Viktor Artemov, a Ukrainian national who runs a network of shell companies selling sanctioned Iranian oil and directing the funds to the Revolutionary Guards and Hezbollah. Artemov is accused of overseeing a large and complex global network of front companies used to facilitate illicit oil shipments. By 2022, he was managing Ava Petroleum, which authorities say was used to help sell sanctioned oil. Artemov is also listed as the director and 50% owner of Petro Naviero, which, through multiple subsidiaries, controlled several vessels involved in illicit shipments. Companies linked to Artemov were registered in the Marshall Islands, Mauritius, and Singapore, allegedly to obscure their role in the sale and transport of Iranian oil. The US Treasury named Triton Navigation Corp as the owner of the Adisa, with Equasis Records linking the company to Romaros Global Ventures. Highlighting the effectiveness of the allegedly evil Shadow Fleet strategy, Venezuela's oil exports rose to more than 900,000 barrels per day in November. And the importing of naphtha, mainly from Russia, what is used to dilute extra heavy crude, doubled to 167,000 barrels per day. PDVSA have not made any comments on our investigation as of yet. Maybe the US is likely to carry out more interventions in coming weeks against vessels carrying Venezuelan oil that may also have transported oil from other countries on US sanctions. It could be that US forces are monitoring tankers at sea and vessels in the Venezuelan ports and are waiting for them to enter international waters before acting. US forces are now operating one of the most powerful fleets ever assembled in the Caribbean, including the world's biggest, largest, and most beautiful aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford. Naval operations across the region have made multiple strikes on what it describes as drug smuggling vessels originating from Venezuela. US operations in the region have already resulted in several strikes against suspected drug-running boats, drawing concern from lawmakers and legal experts who warn about escalation and questions around international law. Since early September, the Trump administration has conducted more than 20 air and maritime strikes against vessels it claims were involved in drug trafficking across the Caribbean and the Pacific. Experts question whether vessels were destroyed outright rather than being intercepted, boarded, and searched, a standard procedure that would allow authorities to examine cargo and question those on board. Maduro alleged that the growing US military buildup in the Caribbean is specifically designed to overthrow his government and seize control of Venezuela's vast oil wealth, the largest proven crude reserves in the world. These happenings are increasingly pointing toward the possibility of a male invasion of the Venezuelan. As a mission for security and freedom, such an operation will likely be met with intense resistance, as Venezuelan leaders insist the nation will stand firm and continue fighting. Would you like to know more? And now, over to the east. We have now new clashes by the troops against the Thailand and the Cambodian order. This fighting between Thailand and Cambodia has going on for about over a week now, with both nations trading accusations of international law violations. Cambodia's military accused the Thai military of launching several early morning attacks on this Thursday, deploying tanks and artillery against positions in Pursat, Bantae Manchae, and Odar Manchae. Probably how that is spelled out. In one attack, allegedly, the Cambodian ministry said that Thai soldiers have fired upon civilians in Praichan. Cambodia urges that Thailand immediately stop all hostile activities and withdraw its forces from Cambodia's territorial integrity and avoid acts of aggression that threaten peace and stability in the region, the ministry said.
The Federal Council convenes.
Since before the start of the brutal and illegal attack on Cambodia, the Thai army has violated all the terms of the ceasefire agreements and the joint declaration on peace between Cambodia and Thailand. The Ministry of National Defense spokesperson demands that the Thai army immediately cease all its aggressive action, stop spreading false information that distort the truth, stop discriminate attack, especially on civilian and civilian infrastructure, and stop attack that destroy historical sites, which are not only the most valuable cultural asset for the Cambodia, but also for all of humanity.
Would you like to know more? The Thai military reported that rockets fired from Cambodia landed near Panmun Dong Rak Hospital in Surin on Wednesday morning, forcing patients and staff to take cover in a bunker. Thai officials were not in the mood for negotiations, believing that Cambodia had repeatedly violated the previous ceasefire by placing landmines inside Thai territory without any repercussions.
the Federal Council convenes.
First of all, I want to say that Thailand did not start the clashes. The Cambodians were the first to fire. And right now, the clashes are unfortunately continuing. We've always been open to mediation, but mediation takes, both sides to be willing to be mediated, right? We had the KL Joint Declaration, which was mediated by the United States and Malaysia. And from the very beginning, we pointed out to the Americans that we wanted them to mediate peace, genuine peace, not a piece of document. And so this is what we want, a commitment, a readiness by the Cambodian side to negotiate peace. Obviously, at the moment in time, they're not ready to do that. They say they're ready on the one hand, but what their actions on the ground are entirely in the opposite direction.
The Khmer Times said Thai forces launched new attacks in 3 Cambodian provinces early Friday. The report said Thai forces fired on the Tha Muang, Tha Krabae and Thamao Daung areas in Odar Manchi province. At least 20 people have been killed and nearly 200 injured across both countries. Cambodia's defense ministry denied Thai claims that it used foreign mercenaries to operate suicide drones, calling the allegation fake news. This is what the 2nd Thai Army area posted on their Facebook page. Here are some of the Thai message translated. Modern warfare has transformed drones into weapons that fundamentally change how battles are fought, especially FPV kamikaze drones, widely used in the Ukraine-Russia war. Analysis of drone wreckage recovered in Thai territory reveals clear links to established tactical concepts. FPV drones used in the Ukraine-Russia war are a prime example of low-cost weapons with high destructive impact. When compared with drone wreckage seized by Thai forces in the Chongbuk and Chong'an Ma areas, investigators found striking similarities to FPV drones used in the Ukraine-Russia war. Transporting complete drone systems from the Eastern European battlefield to Southeast Asia will be highly unlikely. A far more plausible explanation is the transfer of knowledge, techniques, personnel, and assembly templates to Cambodia. One piece of evidence supporting this theory is the detection of English language voice commands, such as the word finished, which is not commonly used by Cambodian soldiers, but is typical among FPV drones operators in the Ukraine-Russia war. Another notable feature of the drones used by Cambodia was their fiber optic control systems, which cannot be disrupted by Thai jamming equipment. Based on this overall assessment, it can be concluded that Cambodia does not possess superior military technology compared to Thailand, but has gained an advantage through effective terrain selection combined with the application and likely personnel derived from the Ukraine-Russia war. End of some of the message from the Facebook page. Border fighting between Thailand and Cambodia has escalated sharply, with each government insisting the other opened fire first. Artillery, rockets and air power have been reported on both sides, striking multiple provinces and forcing civilians to flee or take shelter. While the full casualty numbers remain unclear, both nations confirm losses as the confrontation enters a new and dangerous phase. Would you like to know more? Over to Japan, where US bombers flew over the Sea of Japan with Japanese fighter jets on Wednesday, responding to Chinese and Russian military exercises nearby. 2 US B-52 bombers flew alongside 3 Japanese F-35s, marking US first display of military presence since China began regional drills last week. This was a response after Chinese and Russian bombers did a joint flight over the East China Sea and the Western Pacific last Tuesday, and the Chinese Red Alert incident. Taiwan's ministry said Thursday that China had increased its military presence for a second day, with 27 aircrafts and warships carrying out a joint combat readiness patrol around the island. Tensions have risen after Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi angered Beijing last month with remarks about how Japan could respond to a potential Chinese attack on Taiwan. China claims self-ruled Taiwan and has not ruled out using force to take it. Taiwan is also important to Japan because it sits next to key sea lanes that supply Japan with energy and trade, and its security affects Japan's own southwestern islands.
We have the ships. We have the weapons. We need soldiers. Soldiers like Lieutenant Stack Lumbridge
We're in the target area now, Captain.
and Captain Carmen Ibanez.
This is the captain speaking. All personnel prepare for drop.
Soldiers like Private Ace Levy and Lieutenant John Rico.
Come on, you idiots! You wanna live forever!
We need you all. Service guarantees citizenship.